Getting a property ready for a short-term rental isn't just about speed, it's about process. In this episode, Mike, Lindsey, and Travis walk through their detailed checklist for turning a vacant property, from catching cobwebs and checking for leaks to prepping bedding and managing crew timelines. Plus, how clear communication can make or break your turnover day. All this and more on the Cleveland Real Estate Investor Podcast.
All right, so we're getting a house ready for people to move in, and we have a checklist. Everybody who's going in, like if it's a Dale, if it's Joe, if it's Pete, if it's Travis, we've got people there following that checklist about what do we have to get ready for, and we have that. Correct, Lindsey?
That's correct. And in this case, with Newberry, speaking to Newberry, this property, with the exception of people coming in and out for different showings, this property has not been rented in quite some time. So hence the need for a kind of a light cleaning to just touch it up to ensure that there's no big cobwebs, there's no spiders that are in the things like that. It would be different if someone had just moved out, literally like a couple of days ago, and we were turning it around. There wouldn't be such a need for a cleaning, but certainly we would do our routine checklist as well. But this one warrants a little bit more of with a property that I've noticed being vacant in the past for such a long time, there can be a lot of cobwebs in the ceilings that we want to grab. Sometimes spiders accumulate, things and especially turning on water, heat, checking Wi-Fi. There's a little bit more involved than, say, just a standard couple-day turnaround.
Right. Travis, you're going to want you to take some pictures for the YouTube channel. You and Dale, I saw Dale took a couple pictures of something he noticed. But the process is not only involving going through the checklist, the mouse trap, the mouse poison in the box, nothing outside that kids or dogs or cats can eat. We've got that. We're checking the water. We're checking the toilet, making sure there's no running water. Toilets, it's secure, because you can really blow up a water bill with that. Cobwebs, general condition of the bathrooms and the kitchen. How does the outside look in terms of any garbage, on the front lawn, in the beds, from the winter melt off. Anything looks suspicious that may need repairs. Once that checklist is done, then we alert the tenant moving in, hey, everything's okay, but we're going to come back and do X, Y, Z. So they know we're on top of it. They know that we're seeing what they may be seeing. Does that make sense, Lindsey?
Sure. A lot of the things that we want to tackle up front would be, again, in this case with Newberry, given its location, given its history, the mice is probably the biggest thing that we want to be looking for, as I'd mentioned to Travis, and then just kind of that touch-up cleaning. But when I meet with the tenant tomorrow, one of the things that I let all tenants know before they move in is that, hey, here's what we've done, X, Y, Z. If there are some things that you may pick up on when you move into the property, just give me a call and we can address it. Because they see things that they're just not. This is a perfect example. Last night, I got a call from the Newberry tenant who had said when he was walking around the Newberry house with me last Friday, he had noticed a centipede. And with him being from the Middle East, he doesn't know he's got young kids. He doesn't know if this is an insect, if this is a problem, if this is something to be concerned about. And it's not his fault. He's just not from this area. So he doesn't know that is a harmless insect. But that's part of me kind of walking him down and explaining, hey, when you come into this property, especially given the age of the property, its location, it's not a new build. This was built a long time ago. If you ants or you're seeing it XYZ, all you got to do is just give me a call and I can let you know if that's something to be concerned about or if that's something not to be concerned about.
Right. Okay. Well, the other thing is, in terms of our checklist, and this is more internal, this goes to, say, Dale, one of the foremen who come into these houses, Travis, who's senior foreman, who's working with people, is what is our timeline here? Because we've got a bunch of things, like, for example, to do today. We're in there. We want to get the most important things done. We've got a time deadline to hit in terms of getting things turned around. And that's where the checklist comes in. And if the crew If the crew is running into headwinds where they just can't get anything done, they're alerting the office that, hey, this is going to take me longer to do. Should we bookmark it, come back the next day? Should we stay with it, alert the next job that we're running behind? Or maybe that third job that we had planned for the day, that gets rescheduled somewhere else. So this is where the communication is so important, back and forth, back and forth. Here's the plan that we have for today. Like Dale, we were talking a couple weeks ago, and we ran into this problem with Leon too, is, okay, well, I want to take a lunch break. I'm going to go here to take my lunch break. Well, when is the lunch break? How long is the lunch break going to be? Because we may, their customer may be coming home, and we don't know. We need to know where everybody is at every time. Obviously, take, your lunch break is your lunch break. We're not saying go on a fast like Brooke, intermittent fast. But on the other hand, we need to know. But I think we've got to make sure that checklist has a pathway for time. I mean, a column for time, so that somebody's coming in and look, we got 2 hours for a 2-man crew, and they're going to do X, Y, Z. We got to come in. We got our equipment. We're not wasting time going back and forth. Oh, I got to run to Home Depot, or I got to run to the office and pick up something. No, we are planned out. Does that make sense, Mari?
Yeah, that made sense.
Okay. All right. Well, anything to add on, Travis, on our checklist?
Hey, let's stop here. We got to pay some bills. 30 seconds, and we'll be back. If you've been listening to this podcast, then you understand, or should understand, the pitfalls of investing in Cleveland real estate. Say you're looking for an investment property to rent, and these are the things that could happen, and often do. You overpay for a house, and it's in the ghetto. Then you find that it's a money pit with endless surprise repairs. Your hapless property manager, who may be the brother-in-law of the realtor, gets a tenant who after 3 months stops paying the rent. Then the toilet explodes, and you have nobody to repair it because, guess what? The property manager is not answering the phone. Yep, that's the ugly side of the Cleveland real estate market. But we have a solution. Buy one of our properties. It's been inspected. It's been vetted. It's in a rock-solid part of town. It comes with a Gold Star tenant paying top dollar rent, and we manage it. Call us at 216-371-8160 if you're interested.
I do have some repairs that I've noticed after I'm working on my checklist currently. Is this the time to discuss that?
Nope. No.
All right.
We got 11 o'clock, Lindsey. Go ahead, Lindsey. You had a thing?
Yeah, I think certainly part of the checklist, and I've got to discuss this again with Eugenia. It seems to be, we talked about this before with her, one step forward, one step backward, but I would say part of the checklist, and this won't necessarily become part of the checklist more so, especially as we're downsizing the majority of our properties. But part of the checklist, Trav, that I know you and I have talked about, and I'm almost positive that it's on our checklist, is when we look at bedding and we open the sheets, we're immediately checking to see if there's any stains. Case in point, when I was over at Linfield on Tuesday with Dale, I was doing my own checklist, and I noticed that when I opened one of the beds, there was a massive stain on the bedding. And I have a note in my head to bring that up again with Eugenia. This is not the first time recently this has happened, but that has got to be part of our checklist.
Is it part of our checklist? Bedding and check both sides?
It is part of our checklist.
Okay, and she's checking it off as she goes, right?
She is, and then she has been, and she's missing it.
So when she misses it, we've got to have some recourse.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, we got to recourse. Hey, you can't do this. You're leaving me exposed when a tenant moves in, right?
Yeah.
No, I can't have that. That's unacceptable. I'm a cleaning person. They got to slow it down. And that, look, at the end of the day, the checklist is, we're walking a fine line when I say slow it down. We want to get the stuff done that needs to get done, but we don't want to be spending all day doing it. That's a fine line, and they sound contradictory. But when you plan things out, when you have stuff there and you have a checklist where you're just buzzing right through it, you're going to get everything you need done, prioritized, you're bookmarking stuff that you're going to have to come back for. That's what you were saying, Travis. You're making notes. And then when you leave, checklist is completed. The office knows they get the okay, the green light to the tenant to move in. Okay.
Mhm.
So why don't we end on that note, Lindsey and Travis, and bookmark this because we got 11 o'clock Zoom. And then after that, Travis, we'll talk you, me, Dale, Amari, and Brooke. Okay. So in like 20 minutes or so, half hour. Meanwhile, Travis, I want you to go around, do some selfies, do some video showing what you're doing, showing the bedding, showing the mousetrap, getting all that content filmed, Dropbox to Mark for YouTube video. That sound okay?
Okay.
And Amari,
Great.
go ahead, Lindsey.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Trav, one recommendation that I would have if I were in your shoes and kind of overseeing what the crew is doing is you are, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, Mike, but it would be sensible that as being the project manager to use what strengths you have. And I think your strengths are you're really good at checking things and seeing things out, that are coming up. I know you talked about some repairs that you noticed, but since we're on not necessarily like a time crunch, but we're being more aware of how much time we're going to be spending, especially at a place like Newberry and having the schedule that we set up. I would think that the best use of your time, yes, those videos that Mike's talking about are important, and using your knowledge of checking the bedding and checking for that mice bait. That's where you can be of a big help.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we'll talk in a half hour. Dale, Travis, Brooke, Amari on a phone call. And Lindsey, we got that 11 o'clock Zoom.
Yep.
All right. Okay, guys. Talk later.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Cleveland Real Estate Investor Podcast with Mike Riley. Please add our show or follow us on Spotify, Overcast, Apple Podcast, or Spotify. Leave a like or comment on the video. All engagement is appreciated. Subscribe to us on YouTube as well for video content coming soon. For any Cleveland listeners or Cleveland Browns fans, you can check out our other podcast, Cleveland Browns Anonymous, for our weekly group therapy session. This is also on all the same platforms as the Cleveland Real Estate Investor.